You're listening to Real Talk Texas with local expert Steve Hakes. Now, here's Steve.
Welcome back to Real Talk Texas. Today in the studio, we've got Clay Stapp of Clay Stapp and Company. He's our real expert for urban living in Dallas. And Clay's here talking about what's happening in the urban living. Why would people want to move there and live there? It's pretty interesting, exciting, energized type of a lifestyle, I think. And, you know, in the Metroplex, we're blessed. We've got great urban living and we've got great suburban living, too. So no matter what your feel is, I mean, or what your time of your life, what you're looking for, I think that Dallas-Fort Worth area has everything that people would like to maybe live at. And so what we're focused on today is really urban living. And if I were looking to move in town, or if I was moving from out of town, you know, what can our listeners out there expect as far as what's available? I guess let's start with, okay, like if I were going to rent, what's available? Yeah,
well, definitely most of the people moving in from out of town are typically shocked about the price levels in Dallas. They're a lot lower than they are on the West Coast and the East Coast, so that's a pleasant surprise. Here in the in-town Dallas area, inventory levels are super low. The rental market has been hot. That's why you're seeing all these new apartment complexes going up. And it's been interesting over the last year. We're seeing apartment complexes raising rents, 20 to 30%. It's kind of crazy to think about how much they're able to raise rents, and it just has to do because inventory levels are so low.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand, exactly.
So as far as if I were looking to come in and rent, would I just go to the complex, or would I be better off, calling someone like yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I would say reach out to a real estate broker or a realtor, even an apartment locator. They know the market. They're doing it every day. They also know where some of the best deals are. If you want to get a month free rent up front, or maybe even 2 months free rent up front, it definitely pays to go with one of them, and you don't pay them anything. The apartment complexes pay a referral fee, and it has no effect on what you pay a month.
Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, one of the purposes of this show is of Real Talk Texas is really to find experts in your life that you were going to use maybe for your life. We've had some great guests on the show. We've had trust attorneys. We've had bankruptcy attorneys for people that need that. We've had divorce attorneys on the show. We've had financial planners on the show. And I kind of look at a financial planner and a realtor and a mortgage person as part of those people that you need in your life. And I think if you find a really good agent that gets to know you and your family, even on that first step, maybe it's to rent, and you maintain that relationship, they're going to know when you're ready to buy and when you're ready to make the next step, and they can kind of guide you through life a little bit. And I think that's really important. I know that for myself as a mortgage professional, I really spend a lot of time with my customers, probably more than a lot of people are willing to do. But I really want to know where they're at. I try to give them the financial advice so that they look at their mortgage not just as a monthly payment, or where are you today? Where's the next step? How do we make sure that this mortgage product that I'm giving you is the best product for you to make the next move, knowing that when you sell a house, it costs you. When you're buying a house, it really doesn't cost you. So you got to get prepared so that you have enough equity and things like that. So you hear me talk a lot on the show about 15-year mortgages, which I'm a big fan of, especially for first-time buyers, to really build that equity quickly. And that's what I advise my children of, is to really jump into that. But I also really strongly believe that if you have a really good real estate agent, broker that's involved in your life, or a really good financial planner that's involved in your life, they can really help make sure that you're making the right moves. And housing is a big part of your life. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're spending a third of your income on your rent, and the way they're raising rates, I mean, is that a smart financial move for you? That's a big decision to make, even on a renting standpoint. A lot of people blow that off. But I think that, having someone like you and your firm come in and say, okay, here's where you start. What's your next move? Do you get into that with your clients?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. And that's one thing I instill in my agents is look, this isn't a one-time transaction. You're trying to build a lifetime relationship with someone, and it really goes back to just caring about their needs. If they want to rent, that's great. We make a little less money on the rental, but what we're doing is building a pipeline of clients and people that trust us. So later in life, when they're ready to purchase something, we're there. They know we have great service and help them buy. And I can say, we've been talking about renting a little bit. We're also seeing a bit of a dynamic shift because rates are still so low. A lot of people that were renting or contemplating renting, talking to someone like yourself, they're seeing the other side of the coin when you can get rates in the 15-year mortgage at, what is it, 3% now
or less.
Yeah. Rents have gone up so much that they end up seeing that mortgage payment is actually lower than what they could rent the same place for.
Well, and that's where we would sit down and we'd really help these people. But I think that's the other part, that there's a fine line in renting versus buying. And you've heard me say it before on the show, if you're a regular listener, there's never been a better time in the history of the Metroplex here, really, to purchase a home or a condo or your next step. So I think before I agree with, if you're coming in, you don't know where you want to live, you sign a year lease. Yeah, it's probably good to get a feel for the area if you don't know the market. I think quickly, if you're out there and you're renting right now, you really need to think about buying before everything starts to go the other direction. We are at the bottom here. The values are at the bottom. In fact, they're starting to come up because of supply and demand. We're hearing time and time again that multiple offers on homes, so it's become a seller's market. So the pricing is stabilized and actually coming back, and hopefully we'll see 2005 values soon. But I really feel like, if you're thinking about it, you really need to reach out. And again, we'll put the offer out there. Grab your cell phone, send a text to this number, and we'll get you in touch with Clay, and I'll work with you as far as making sure that you're getting the advice from the financial side, and Clay's group can find you the best house or home or condo or whatever. But send a text message to 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546. Just tell us what you're looking to do: buy, sell, or rent, and we'll put you in touch with the right people. So let's talk a little bit more about the areas. Is there a specific? I know the inventories are tight. So one thing I do want to mention, if you're listening, and we do need inventory to sell. So if you're thinking about selling, Clay, let me ask you this: if I had a place in urban Dallas, and I didn't know whether I held it, maybe my price dropped a little bit, is now the time I should be thinking about selling my house and listing it?
Well, again, we are seeing the pendulum shift back from a buyer's market into a seller's market. So more and more people are seeing that now is the time to go ahead and get their house listed and sell. I like the time right here around Christmas because a lot of people don't want their home on the market, but if you are able to put your home on the market now, there's still buyers out there, and there's not a lot of inventory. So a lot of times people can get a quick sell and get out of it and move on with 2013. I think 2013 is going to be a strong year, better than last year. We're going to see things just continue to improve. And so, along the spring selling season, in 2013, I think we're going to see a lot of inventory, but I think it's going to be snapped up pretty quick. So, I anticipate prices to start going up again in 2013.
Well, what kind of advice would you give a seller if they're thinking about selling, and maybe is there something they need to do to make sure they get that top price?
I think a lot of times, definitely talk to a professional, but take a look at the market, see what you're competing against. If, you're in a condo or high rise and there's nothing else on the market right now, it's probably a good time to, test it out and put your home on the market. If you're in a neighborhood, see what's going on around you. You can drive by the homes and see signs in the yard. But if there's not a lot out there, a lot of people are getting top dollar right now by putting their home on the market and getting it sold.
Okay. Let me ask you, if for some of our listeners, it's Sunday afternoon. we're on the air between noon and 1 right now, and just wondering is there a place that you would recommend if I were out looking right now? Is there one you got to see this if you're thinking about urban living? We promised to give some people this tip before the break. Do you have a couple properties you'd like talked about?
Yeah, definitely. We have 2 open houses going on today. One of them is a very cool loft in North Oak Lawn. It's 3911 Gilbert, unit number C. It's priced at $510,000. It's a 3-bedroom, just open loft-like, huge windows, lots of natural light. It's got a rooftop deck. It's a really, really cool, hip urban building.
Is it one of those where they're kind of like a townhouse and it's 3 stories and you have the rooftop? What's it look like?
Yeah, exactly. It's a red brick building with big arching windows. There's 8 units there total in the development, and it's you enter on the first floor. You got 2 bedrooms down there, living area, kitchen on the second floor, huge master bedroom suite with a huge closet on the third, and then stairs up to the rooftop deck.
Good views.
Great views of downtown, uptown, and Turtle Creek.
Very cool. All right, what else do you have out there?
We have another house open today from 2 to 4 o'clock. It's in State Thomas, 2931 Thomas. It's listed at $399, and again, same type of setup: garage, living area on the second, master on the third, and then rooftop deck. And the views of downtown in State Thomas are unbelievable, and the walkability to cool bars and restaurants in State Thomas is really nice and a big draw for those homes.
And if you're listening out there, you're listening to Real Talk Texas. We've got Clay Stapp of Clay Stapp and Company in studio today. Make sure you stop by those open houses, and if you didn't have a pencil, write that down. Pick up your phone and text us text us at 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546. Just send me a text, and we'll make sure that we get Clay and you can go see those homes.